bravery, loyalty, manliness. These traits are epitomized by one man. Grape juice! Gotcha! These qualities actually describe the character Eijiro Kirishima, aka the sturdy hero, Red Riot. Kirishima is the tough, rugged, rock-hard, but kind-hearted goofball of Class 1A. He is beloved and respected by not only his classmates, but also by the fans of the show. I mean, he placed in the top 5 of the last 3 Japanese popularity polls, and it's not hard to see why. Kirishima is energetic, extremely optimistic, and always helps his friends. He's all in all a good guy. He believes being a hero means being the manliest person there is, and his teary-eyed declarations of respect for those he deems manly are just as admirable as they are comedic. We all love this red-headed manly boy. However, Kirishima is more important than you may initially realize. When we first meet Kirishima, he seems like the ideal UA student. He's all pumped up and ready for a challenge. Just like most of his classmates, he wants to be the best, and he's willing to put in the work. He's clearly talented as he ranked 8 overall in the fitness test, but even more impressively, he ranked 2nd in the UA entrance exam. That's right, out of everyone in Class 1A and Class 1B, with the exception of those who got in a recommendation of Bakugo, Kirishima performed better than everyone else. But if we look closer at the results of the exam, you may realize that there is a trend. Every character's final score directly correlates to their personality. It's most evident with Bakugo and Midoriya. Bakugo only has points for defeating villains because his idea of a hero is of someone who always comes out on top and beats up the bad guy, whereas Midoriya only has rescue points, which matches his ideology that heroes are people who protect and save others. We can even see this correlation in the smaller characters. Uraka has more rescue points than villain points because she wants to be a support hero. Ida's points are skewed towards defeating villains because he was told that was the only way to score, and he does what he thinks is right. So if we take this trend and look at Kirishima's score, you'll notice his score for taking down villains and rescuing people are almost the same. Every other character's points are skewed in one direction, but not Kirishima's. This is because of Kirishima's personality. He's rash and always willing to dive headfirst into a battle, but he also cares deeply about the well-being of those around him. We first get a glimpse of his personality during the USJ incident. When the Warp Gate villain Kurogiri appears, Kirishima doesn't hesitate to attack the villain. Although this move turns out to be a mistake, Kirishima jumped with good intentions. He didn't want his classmates to get hurt, so he did what he thought was best to protect them. Likewise, after the villains are defeated, Midoriya is laying injured on the ground. Kirishima immediately runs over to his friend, making sure he is okay. At this point, even All Might, the #1 hero, commemorates his concern for his friends. In a way, Kirishima is the perfect balance between Bakugo and Midoriya. He has Bakugo's drive and willingness to battle, as well as Midoriya's protective and caring nature. While all his classmates excel in one aspect, Kirishima is an all-rounder, which is what makes him an amazing character. All Might said it himself, that if Midoriya and Bakugo weren't so one-sided and learned from one another, they would be perfect heroes. Kirishima is that perfect hero. Or, at least he could be. Just like every great character, Kirishima has flaws. While he has the ideal personality for being a great hero, he lacks ingenuity. He tends to plunge headfirst into battle before analysing his situation. During the final exams, Kirishima leaps carelessly towards Cementos and attempts to overpower the pro in a head-on fight. It's a foolish move, as even with Sato by his side, there's no way they could have beaten Cementos in the city environment. So, inevitably, they end up failing the exam. This inability to wait is what holds Kirishima back. He can't just sit around and think things through. He has to act, and he has to do it now. Although this is a big flaw, Kirishima has a good reason for acting this way, and it all stems from his past. In the manga, we learn Kirishima and Mina Ashido attended the same school before UA. During their time in the school, Mina is praised for her outgoing personality and athletic nature. She is basically the exact same Mina we all know and love. However, Kirishima is different. One day, a small villain shows up and threatens some of their classmates. Kirishima sees this and tries to run in and confront the villain like we expect him to. But this time, there's something different. He can't move. His body is frozen in fear. As much as he wants to run in and help his friends, he's too scared and he can't act. Luckily, Mina shows up and saves the day, rescuing her classmates. But this moment damages Kirishima. He holds the idea of manliness, being strong, noble, and protecting others in such a high regard, yet When push came to shove, he did nothing. He couldn't live up to his ideals, and it shattered his spirit. He had no excuse for not running in and trying to save his friends, so he begins to doubt his ability to become a hero. It's because of this moment that Kirishima becomes so reckless. He hates himself for not taking action, so he tries to make up for it. He reinvents himself, and he makes sure that if anyone is ever in danger, he will be the first person to take action. He's terrified of what will happen if he doesn't do anything. This is why he jumps at Kurogiri, why he runs to Midoriya, and why he tries to take on Cementos. But most importantly, this is why he tries to rescue Bakugo. At first, Kirishima and Bakugo aren't fond of one another. Bakugo's extremely aggressive tendencies towards Midoriya and his classmates go against Kirishima's beliefs, and Bakugo just sees Kirishima as another stepping stone on his path to being number one. Although their ideals clash, Kirishima still shows respect to Bakugo. He recognizes his skills and comments on how he's an amazing quirk. A bond begins to build between the two during the USJ incident. Both boys are forced to fight alongside each other, and they quickly learn that their quirks are compatible. Kirishima slowly forges a newfound respect for Bakugo because he realizes they aren't so different. He admires Bakugo's tenacity and unrelenting drive to become number one because he knows what it's like to feel useless. From this point on, Kirishima begins to refer to Bakugo's more respectable actions as manly, which for Kirishima is a compliment of the highest regard. Kirishima's growing admiration leads to the boys teaming up in the sports festival. This team up is a pivotal moment for the two heroes' relationship, as it is the beginning of Bakugo's recognition of Kirishima as a rival rather than a stepping stone. This rivalry is only furthered by the fact that during the final fights of the sports festival, Kirishima is the only combatant who managed to lay a finger on Bakugo. And from this rivalry, a reluctant friendship is born. It is Kirishima's ability to become Bakugo's friend that makes him so important to Class 1A. If it wasn't for Kirishima, Bakugo would have no friends. None of the other classmates can put up with his explosive temper, so they just ignore him. Sure, they recognize his unbelievable combat prowess and his capability to be an amazing hero, but on a personal level, no one even tries to be Bakugo's friend. They just assume he wants to be by himself. If there was no Kirishima, Bakugo would have no one. He would have been left alone and eventually segregated from the class. There would be no one to bring him back. This is Kirishima's role in Class 1A, to bring people back. He genuinely cares for every single one of his classmates, and he's willing to put his life on the line to protect them. He's the glue that holds Class 1A together. This is why, when Bakugo gets taken by the villains at the training camp, it devastates Kirishima. When he learns his friend is in trouble, he tries to rush out into the woods to save him, but he's stopped by Aizawa. Once again, Kirishima is put in his worst nightmare. He has the ability to do something, to help, but he just can't. It goes against everything he believes in to sit in a room and wait while his friends are in danger. He has trained so hard and tried his absolute best not to be put in this situation, yet here he is again. To him, this is the unmanliest thing he could do. And to make it all worse, this time, the villains get away. After the camp, the students meet up in Midoriya's hospital room. Here, Kirishima proposes the idea that they break the rules and go after Bakugo. It's in this moment we truly see why Kirishima is so important to Class 1A. He is risking everything. He knows what he's proposing is against the law, and he knows it could cost him his dreams, but his friend is in trouble, and he refuses to sit back and do nothing. Funnily enough, this is the one time that Kirishima's recklessness turns out to be right. If it wasn't for his immediate call to action, if they had to act even a minute later, they wouldn't have reached the building in time, and who knows what would have happened. Then, Kirishima witnesses the friend he couldn't save being attacked by villains, but he can't leave his hiding spot. It's an all too familiar situation. Kirishima has faced the same situation time and time again. His friends are in danger and he can't do anything to help. He tried his best to change, to never be put in this nightmarish position again. But no matter what he does, he just can't escape it. It's like some sort of sick joke. But this time, it's different. This time, Kirishima isn't alone. Kirishima united his classmates under one cause. He brings his classmates together because he knows any of them alone would be useless. But as a collective, maybe they can do something. And as it turns out, not only can they save Bakugo, but Kirishima is the key to the whole plan. Out of all of his classmates, he's the only one who can call out to Bakugo. He's the only one that can bring him back. Finally, Kirishima can do something for his friend in need. After suffering for so long, he finally has an opportunity to redeem himself, to redeem his manliness. And in that moment, Kirishima pulls his friend from out of the darkness, unifying Class 1A. Kirishima may not have the best quirk, and he may not excel in anything at school, but one thing he does have is an undying loyalty towards his friends. He is the rock-hard foundation that keeps Class 1A together. He's the only one who can withstand attack after attack, downfall after downfall, blast after blast, and still remain sturdy, strong, unbreakable.